Do you know what you want? Really know what you want? If not, I can help you figure it out. Hi there, I'm Adila. Welcome to This Is Your Story. And here we help you manifest love, health, wealth, and beyond using the law of assumption. So, the first step in using the law of assumption is knowing what you want, defining what you want. And this could sometimes feel like an easy question, but it can sometimes feel complicated. So if you kind of teeter totter back and forth about what you really want, let me give you this example. Here's my story. So I came into know the law of assumption through the law of attraction, really. I used to practice the law of attraction for many years, and I felt like I experienced a lot of wins, but it presented as really confusing to me sometimes because I felt very unsuccessful in some areas. So I manifested my boyfriend at the time while practicing the law of assumption and the law of attraction. And what happened was I I knew that I wanted a relationship, but I didn't really know what that looked like. I wanted like my ideal relationship, but I didn't really have an idea of what that was going to be like. I just wanted somebody who was committed, trustworthy, and I could have fun with. So, right before I manifested him, I had read in this magazine about a woman who had manifested her husband, and she wrote out a list of qualities that she was looking for in a person. And I took that idea and I was like, oh, okay, what do I really want, right? I wrote down certain qualities that I wanted this person to have. I already had children. I wanted him to be like a fun loving guy who loved kids. I thought about different professions where those kinds of guys would kind of be in, like a teacher or something like that. But I made this whole list of qualities that I wanted in a person and wrote that list out, and I tucked it away in a drawer. At the end of that list in the magazine, the girl described asking God for this person and wanting to be blown away. So at the end of the list, I said, yes, I want to be wowed. I want to be blown away. And subsequently, I was blown away. When I met him, he had all of the qualities that I had thought of, but even more, like things that I was like, wow, I was really impressed by him. So our relationship started off great, and we were kind of impressed by each other, but I slowly became super insecure. He became unavailable, and that's just the dynamic that ended up continuing to show up in our relationship. In the law of attraction, they talk about maintaining a high vibration, right? And I used to kind of punish myself because I wasn't staying in this high vibe, right? I was reacting a lot, reacting to the circumstances and asking him why he was unavailable. And he would just be like working, work constantly. What I appreciate so much with that experience is how hard it was and how it continued to keep me seeking for something else. That's where the law of attraction ended, in my opinion, and law of assumption came in. Another thing that I realized is that I didn't really know what I wanted. I had made this list for this guy, and he showed up and he was great in so many ways, but foundationally I didn't have an idea of what I wanted in a relationship, what would truly make me feel happy, content, all of that. And if you look at my scripting back then, oh my God, it was awful. It was, me from one perspective, one state of consciousness at that time that I don't know. It just wasn't me. So when learning about Neville Goddard's work and how easy it is to manifest using the law of assumption, I was thrilled. I was like, oh my gosh, I could really have what I want, right? Because I had this this great person in my life, and we were talking about building a life together, but I was like, you really need to be more available. I need to feel comfortable. I need to feel secure. But I was really putting everything out onto him. I was being very reactive, very like, if you change, then everything will change for us. I'll feel more secure. If you change, then I'll come towards you. I will marry you. Like all of these things that he would talk about having together, having children together, having a home together, everything I didn't feel comfortable doing because I felt really insecure in my relationship. Then I learned about the concept of self, how I was viewing myself in this relationship, what I was putting out there, and how he was responding to it. In addition to that, simultaneously, it's like everyone is you pushed out. I didn't know that everything came from within. I didn't know that I can create what I want in any relationship, not just this one, but any circumstance, any relationship based on what was coming from the inside. Once I change the inside, everything will automatically change. So this new level of understanding I had to put into practice. And it took me a while to actually put it into daily practice. I would read books, I would gain this level of understanding and dibble and dabble with it, but not like go in full throttle. So that means that I am getting like inconsistent results. So I decided to get a coach. I started working with that coach regularly, and I decided to take out a few methods of manifesting practices that I liked, and one being scripting. I started scripting, and I would script actually inconsistently, to be honest, but this one day that I did it was like an epiphany that I had afterwards. We had a date planned, and I wanted the date to go a certain way, right? I want him to ask me certain things. So I scripted out the entire date ahead of time. The date happened, and it was just so wild because when we were together, he started talking and he was saying the exact phrases that I scripted. And I was looking at him like, did I say that out loud? Did I say that? Have we talked about this before? It was so crazy. So scripting easily turned into my thing. I didn't have anybody who I could share that with because nobody who I knew at the time was into conscious manifesting. That thought it was really weird, but scripting is my thing now. But what I was scripting before is totally different from what I'm scripting now because I know myself and I know what I want. Subsequently, I ended up letting go of that relationship after years though, but I wanted to feel myself and love myself from the inside out. I mean, and it sounds like super cliche, but I noticed that I would get into relationships and I would want them to fulfill me, and I wanted to feel fulfilled from the inside out. I wanted to create my ideal days. I wanted to create just this, not really independence, but just this dependence on myself and knowing that I can create something without that other party, without that other thing that made it that way. It all came from within. My happiness came from within, my pleasure, my wealth, everything. And that's what I decided to do. And I've been doing that for about over a year now, and it's just been amazing. I'm sharing it in this way because this is what I used to think. I used to think that I was at this age, I wanted to get married, have more children, and like live this life based on what society had told me it's time for. And it didn't pan out that way. And I really love how everything came together. So I want to share a shortcut to deciding and knowing what you truly want. If you want your ideal relationship, start describing it like this. I am in the most blissful marriage ever. He treats me like a queen, always spoiling me, giving me money, catering to me, cooking for me. He provides everything I need